statisticians tell us that the Brexit vote has had no impact. What we're seeing is part of a pattern. Some people are leaving, some people are coming here. The net amount remains largely stable.
Legislation for the first phase of the HS2 high-speed rail project has passed its final hurdle. The parliamentary bill to construct the line from London to Birmingham has now received royal assent. It means building work can now begin. In sport, Johnny Sexton returns to Ireland's rugby union side for their Six Nations match with France on Saturday. The Fly-Half missed the opening 2 games of the tournament with injury and replaces Ulster's Paddy Jackson, while John Barclay is replacing the injured Greg Laidlaw as captain of Scotland for their game with Wales. And James Bond star Naomi Harris says there's a very good chance Daniel Craig will return as 007. She's been speaking after getting her OBE from the Queen at Buckingham Palace. That's the latest. I'm Charlie Maggs.
Assalamu alaikum then, and a very good afternoon to all of you out there. It's very windy, a lot of breeze. You're listening to Nasser Rauf and the Drive Time Show on Iman FM 103.1. Your voice, your choice. And you know, when we say your voice, your choice, we actually mean that. We find out the hot topics within the community and we bring them to you on this platform. A really busy show today. Going to be no time for many tracks and updates, but inshallah there is a lot to talk about, and inshallah we'll keep you guys on the teeth edge, as it was. We've got lots to talk about. First of all, we're going to kick things off with the Consulate General in a very short while indeed. I'm trying to get him on as quick as possible because we only have 10 minutes with him. We're going to get him on. Consulate General of Pakistan in Bradford. Some controversial remarks were made last night at a celebration event, and controversial remarks are being made by individuals like the Consulate General, which are calling certain activities in Sheffield illegal. Now, they're the words that are being used by the Consulate General and not being used by anybody else. And it's our duty as media personnel, as media journalists, analysts, and presenters to pick up on this and to ask the following questions. Why? What is illegal? Who are these people that are committing illegal? And if they are, what are the consequences? Why are the consequences not being enforced? Where is the law enforcement to this? Or are these totally nonsense and foolish remarks? We're going to get all the insight into that in a short while indeed. And if you've got any questions, obviously the call will be online, so I can't take any more calls, but inshallah we're going to be trying to see if we can get in touch with Mohammed Ali, who said that he can try and come down here as well, and he's the PMC chairperson, and he offers some services, consular services, in the sense that NADA services and other attestation services at the Pakistan Muslim Centre. So we're going to speak to him and see what his views and his thoughts are from the Consular General's address as well. And it's another opportunity for you guys to get in touch as well. 0788 5599 786. Coming up further, 4:30. So let's kick things off then. The first item of discussion on Iman FM is going to be the issue of some remarks were made, some would say controversial remarks were being made yesterday by the Consul General of Pakistan as he addressed a crowd in Rotherham. And this was an event that was organised to congratulate the achievement of Raja Rashid Khan in being appointed the GEO correspondent for Sheffield. And there was many positive things the Consul General talked about in regards to bringing out positive community aspects forward and bringing the aspects onto a front line so that people reporting in the media should be very proud to the fact that the achievements of Pakistan and the young generation that are coming up the ranks. So to talk to him further and to talk about also the positives as well as some of the controversial remarks that have stood out in the community, we've got the Consul General of Pakistan in Bradford on the line for us, and he's telling us now from Bradford. First of all, let's give him a very warm greeting onto Drive Time. Assalamu alaikum to you, Mr. Ahmed Amjad Ali. How are you?
Ji, assalamu alaikum ji, how are you?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, I'm fantastic, and I hope you're in good spirit as well. First of all, we've got a view for a very short time, and thank you very much for agreeing to speak to us last minute. First of all, let's kick things off with yesterday and some of the announcements that you made. You said that you're still going to continue with your Rotherham and Sheffield surgery. How did the last surgery go?
Okay, thank you, Nasir, for taking me online. In your intro, I was listening to your intro and you said some of the controversial controversial remarks made by the Consul General. So let me be very clear. Whatever I spoke yesterday, it wasn't controversial. I have spoken what is the law and what are the instructions by the High Commission. So these were not controversial. If someone wants to make them controversial, it's up to them. It's not my words. These are words of the government of Pakistan and the instructions issued by the High Commission.
So we're going to come to them remarks.
Okay, now your next question about the surgeries. Alhamdulillah, we've had 3 surgeries in South Yorkshire in last 3 months. 2 have been in Rotherham and 1 was in Sheffield. And we are providing services of NICOP cards, attestation and visas. And in these 3 surgeries, we have served more than around 425 people in these surgeries for all these services. And I'm happy to announce that on 11th of March, again, we are coming to Sheffield for another surgery. As I promised last month, we will be holding 1 surgery every month in Rotherham and Sheffield, and we are up to that commitment, and inshallah in April again we will come back to Rotherham.
Let's thank you very much for that little address, and we look forward to greeting you next time you're here. First of all, in regards to some controversial remarks that have been taken by the community, may not necessarily be intended by yourself, but we're gonna talk about some of the comments. First of all, yesterday at the event congratulating Raja Rashid Khan of his event, there was echoes from the back. Individuals that didn't agree with you, and one person in particular, we don't want to get into naming names, but was very unhappy in regards to, he felt as though this was targeting Sheffield. My first question to you is your remarks which were saying these activities are illegal. Can you just please explain what activities are illegal and what number they exist in?
I think yesterday's program went very well, and there was only one individual who at the end stood up, and after he stood up, I think majority of the community members came to me and they said that whatever he was saying was not right. And I think you've listened to that as well. And I think let me take you to the Pakistan High Commission's press release issued on 11th of November 2016. It's available on the High Commission's website as well. So anyone who thinks that these are controversial things, or it is something wrong that we are saying that these Nadra Advice Bureaus and offices should not operate, I think they should read that press release. Again, I would say November 11th, 2016, which clearly says that Nadra Advice Bureaus are unauthorized entities. So I think further going into this controversy, anyone who has any issues with this should read this press release by the High Commission of Pakistan, London. It is available on their press release section, and if there are some questions, they are most welcome to talk to London that why they have issued this. And let me also clarify that yesterday when I spoke of this, I did not say specifically Sheffield. I said people in my area, in Bradford, Rotherham, Sheffield and other areas. So if you have recording of that clipping yesterday, you would see that. And in this press release also, the High Commission clearly says that there are such offices in various parts of UK. So it's not only Sheffield. Those people who are trying to make it a controversy, maybe if they are involved in this, so I cannot say about them, but if anyone has any questions or thinks it's wrong, I think I advise them to go and read this press release.
Okay, we will talk
now
about
I think let's move on to other questions. I've spoken a lot on this.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to finally touch upon with if anybody is doing this illegal. आपने पहले भी कहा था, उर्दू में बात कर लेते हैं क्योंकि हमारे काफ़ी सामीन जो फेसबुक पे भी देख रहे हैं और वो रेडियो भी सुन रहे हैं, सुनने वाले भी, उनके लिए ये भी थोड़ा उर्दू में हो जाए तो अच्छा है. तो ये आपसे ये भी सवाल पूछूंगा कि अगर ये लीगल एक्टिविटी हो रही हो तो आप काउंसिलर जनरल होने की हैसियत से आप क्या कर रहे हैं? आपने पहले भी कहा था हमें यहाँ रेडियो स्टेशन पे कि आप भाई आपको इनको लीगल एक्शन इनके खिलाफ लिया जाएगा, और हाई कमीशन इसको बहुत सीरियस ट्रीट कर रही है, बहुत कंप्लेंट्स आ चुकी हैं, तो ये लीगल एक्शन कहाँ है?
मैं आपको इसमें बता दूं कि हाई कमीशन और हम सब काउंसिलेट्स ने एक ये फैसला किया था कि हम चूंकि ये सारे अपने लोग हैं, पाकिस्तानी हैं और हम सब इनको अपने कहते हैं, तो बजाय हम इनको खिलाफ लीगल एक्शन दें, एक मौका और दे दें और इन लोगों को आगाह कर दें कि देखें ये चीज़ सही नहीं है, इसको रोक दें. और अगर ये नहीं रुके तो डेफिनेटली इस आखिरी मौके के बाद हाई कमीशन कोई लीगल एक्शन लेने के लिए तैयार होगा इस पे.
चलो ठीक है, ये बात भी हो गई है. दूसरी चीज़ है ऑनलाइन सिस्टम है आपका, वो फिंगर टिप्स करने पड़ते हैं, वो फिंगर्स स्कैन जो करने पड़ते हैं, बाकी स्कैन और कॉपीज, ये हमारे कम्युनिटी के पास ये चीज़ें नहीं है, ये मसूलत उनके साथ ये आइटम्स नहीं है जो वो कर सकते हैं. तो अगर वो शायद कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या कम्युनिटी में मेंबर उनकी लिए से कोई सपोर्ट कर रहा है और उनकी मदद कर रहा है, वो क्यों ऐसे हॉस्टाइल एक्शन की तरफ से लिया जाता है? ये तो कम्युनिटी को सपोर्ट करना है, क्योंकि काउंसिल सर्विसेज तो शेफील्ड में रुक गई थी, तो इनने अगर ये सेटअप कर ली है तो ये ऑनलाइन सिस्टम भी है. अगर वो नादरा का जो ऑनलाइन सिस्टम जो खुद वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान जो उन्हें ऑफर किया हुआ है, तो इसके साथ
आपका सवाल, बिकॉज टाइम कम है, मैंने एक और मीटिंग में जाना है, तो मैं समझ गया आपका सवाल. आप ये कहें कि शेफील्ड में सर्विसेज रुक गई थी, ये बिल्कुल बात सही नहीं है. पाकिस्तान ने पूरे यूके में 5 दफ्तर हैं हमारे, एक हाई कमीशन है लंदन में, और उसके अलावा 4 काउंसलेट्स हैं जो बर्मिंघम, ब्रैडफोर्ड, मैनचेस्टर और यूके में हैं. ये हुकूमत पाकिस्तान के ऑफिसेज हैं, यहाँ के नुमाइंदे सदर पाकिस्तान की तरफ से आते हैं, और सिर्फ सर्जरीज रुकी थी चंद महीनों के लिए जो दूसरे शहरों में जाके सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं. तो इसको ये मत लिया जाए कि सबके ऑनलाइन काम या सबके काम रुक गए थे. काउंसलेट्स यहाँ पे काम कर रही हैं और काफी अरसे से कर रही हैं, और यूके वो मुल्क है जहाँ पूरी दुनिया में पाकिस्तान के 5 दफ्तर नहीं है, यहाँ पे हैं. तो ये कहना गलत है कि शेफील्ड के लिए काम रुक गए थे. ब्रैडफोर्ड की काउंसलेट शेफील्ड को कवर करती है और वो हमेशा से काम कर रही है और आगे भी करती रहेगी. दूसरा, ये जो आप कह रहे हैं कि हम यहाँ पे, मैं आपको बता दूं, हम न्यू कासल से लेके नॉटिंघम तक नॉर्थ ईस्ट कवर करते हैं ब्रैडफोर्ड में, और हमारे पास तकरीबन दिन में 200 से 250 लोग आते हैं डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ दिस एरिया, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के रीजन से, जो पासपोर्ट, नाइकॉप, वीजा अटेस्टेशन के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं. तो
आगे फ्यूचर में क्या स्टेप्स हैं?
ऑनलाइन सर्विस नादरा ने शुरू की थी, ये उन लोगों के लिए शुरू की थी. कई प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं जो छुट्टी वाले दिन सिर्फ फ्री होते हैं, या कोई और लोग होते हैं जिनको दूर पड़ता है, तो वो घर बैठ के खुद वो कर लें.
तो अगर ये गवर्नमेंट जो पाकिस्तान की है, जो वो उनने ऑनलाइन सर्विस ये मुनसब की है कि ये भी ये जो कम्युनिटी को ये यूज़ कर सके, ये इंडिविजुअल यूज़ कर सके, तो ये तो उनने परमिशन दी हुई है इन लोगों को कि ये यूज़ कर सकते हैं, हेल्प कर सकते हैं. तो
ये जो हाई कमीशन ने प्रेस रिलीज भी की थी और जो गवर्नमेंट का इसके बारे में था, वो लाइन पढ़ के सुना देता हूँ, which says it may be noted that online application service for NICOP was started to facilitate the applicants to submit their NICOP applications from any place of convenience. इसमें किसी को नहीं कहा गया था कि आप दूसरे के लिए करें, और इसको एक रेगुलर रूटीन बना दें. देखें, अगर आप किसी एक आदमी की हेल्प कर रहे हैं, 2 आदमियों की, एक फैमिली की हेल्प कर रहे हैं, बट ये तो नहीं कि आप सारा दिन एक ऑफिस बना के पूरी कम्युनिटी को ये काम शुरू कर दें. ये हेल्प है जो एक वॉलंटरीली हेल्प अगर आप किसी के कर रहे हैं, तो आप अपने फैमिली की करेंगे, अपने दोस्त की करेंगे, लेकिन ये तो नहीं आप करेंगे कि हमें ऑथराइज कर दिया किसी ने कि आप ये काम शुरू कर दें. तो इसको देखने की बड़ी सख्त जरूरत है.
आगे फ्यूचर में क्या प्लान्स है? आप
मैंने आपको कहा, हम सर्जरीज हर महीने करेंगे. शेफील्ड में और रॉदरहम में अगर ज्यादा जोर है लोगों का, डिमांड ज्यादा है, एवरी मंथ वी विल कम देयर. उसके अलावा हमारा काउंसलेट फ्रॉम 9 to 5 खुला होता है. ऑनलाइन अपॉइंटमेंट्स 150 होती हैं सिर्फ नादरा कार्ड की डेली, तो वो भी जारी रहेगा, और हर महीने हम शेफील्ड में और रॉदरहम में आके सर्जरीज भी करेंगे.
आप इस कंडीशन में हैं, और आप ये अश्योरिटी दे सकते हैं जो लीगल एक्टिविटी आपने नेम की थी यहाँ पे जो कहते हैं वो ऑफिसेज खोले हैं, आपने यस्टरडे लॉर्ड मेयर का एग्जांपल दिया था.
मैं आपको बता दूं, मैंने कल किसी का नाम नहीं लिया था. अगर कोई लोग अपने ऊपर ले रहे हैं तो वो उनका अपना है, जो खुद कर रहे होंगे. मैंने किसी का नाम ना ले लिया ना लिया.
तो फ्यूचर इनके लिए क्या होगा? फ्यूचर जो भी यहाँ पे जो सर्विस ऑफर कर रहे हैं, वो मदद कर रहे हैं अपने बहन भाइयों की, वो उनके लिए क्या होगी? और फ्यूचर में क्या कोर्ट प्रोसीजर्स होंगे या कैसे लीगली आप ये कहते हैं?
नहीं पता कि फ्यूचर में हाई कमीशन और फॉरेन एंड कॉमनवेल्थ ऑफिस क्या इसको किस तरह लेगा, ये दिस आई कांट से, ये उनका डिसीजन है. बट मैंने आपको वो बताया है जो मुझे इंस्ट्रक्शंस आई हैं हाई कमीशन से.
जज़ाकल्लाह खैर. आपने वक्त की जो पाबंदी दी थी, लेकिन इन द पास्ट देयर वाज अ चार्ज ऑफ £10 per application.
अच्छा, ओके, मैं समझ गया. ये भी हमारे वो काउंसलेट के लिए कहा जा रहा है कि जी £10 जो गवर्नमेंट फीस होती है हम वही लेते हैं, और ये फीस डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट के अकाउंट में जाती है. اگر آپ کوئی فیس جب جمع بھی کرا دیتے ہیں تو فیس نان ریفنڈیبل اس لیے ہوتی ہے کہ جو آپ فیس جمع کرا رہے ہیں وہ ڈائریکٹلی گورنمنٹ کے اکاؤنٹ میں جا رہی ہے اور ہر روز تھرو بینکنگ چینل وہ پاکستان ٹرانسفر ہوتی ہے فرام گورنمنٹ اکاؤنٹ ہیئر ٹو اکاؤنٹ ان پاکستان. اس میں ہمارے کسی انڈیویجول کے کوئی کام نہیں ہوتا, نہ کانسولیٹ کا اس میں کوئی رول ہوتا ہے, نہ کانسولیٹ کے اکاؤنٹ میں آتا ہے.
وہ بھی ریٹن پریس ریلیز میں ہے.
میں بتا دوں, اور یہ جو ایم آر ٹی کی فیس ہے, جو موبائل رجسٹریشن جو یہ ہم کرتے ہیں جا کے سرجریز کرتے ہیں, اس کی فیس گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان نے 82 پاؤنڈ فکس کی ہے. یہ ہم نے یا کانسولیٹ نے نہیں فکس کی, یہ گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان کی فیس ہے جو موبائل سرجری کی ہے. تو اگر کسی کو اس پہ کوئی اعتراض ہے کہ اس کے علاوہ کوئی پیسے لے رہے ہیں تو وہ آپ کہیں, لیکن جو گورنمنٹ کی فیس ہے, جو فیس آپ کے ہائی کمیشن کے ویب سائٹ پہ, کانسولیٹ کی ویب سائٹ پہ ہے, وہ گورنمنٹ کی فیس ہے. اور اگر کسی کو اس کا کوشچن کرنا ہے تو وہ درخواست دے, گورنمنٹ کو ہم فارورڈ کریں گے کہ جی فیس زیادہ ہے یہ. ٹھیک ہے جی,
ٹھیک ہے. تھینک یو ویری مچ فار کمنگ آن.
کوئی چارج نہیں کرتے, نہ ہم فوٹو کاپی کا چارج کسی سے کرتے ہیں, نہ ہم سروس دینے کا کوئی چارج کرتے ہیں. جو گورنمنٹ کی فیس ہے وہ ایک فیس ہے وچ از فکسڈ, وچ از ڈسپلیڈ, اس کے علاوہ کوئی فیس چارج نہیں ہوتی.
ایک دو اور بھی سوال تھے, آپ کے پاس وقت ہے یا؟ لیکن کیونکہ obviously very conscious of time آپ نے کہا تھا
because I have to go for another meeting.
ڈی پی اے کے حوالے سے آپ نے یہ ایشو, یہ کمیونٹی, یہ ٹیکسٹ میسج آ چکا ہے ہمارے پاس, اور یہ بھی کمیونٹی پوچھ رہی ہے کیونکہ ڈی پی اے کے حوالے سے وہ ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن ایکٹ کے آپ نے ایکوز کی تھی, تو اس کے حوالے سے آپ کیا بتانا چاہتے ہیں؟ کیونکہ یہ ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن
کے حوالے سے بتائیں گے مجھے کیا آپ,
کیونکہ یہ ایشوز یہ تھے, کیونکہ آپ نے یسٹرڈے کہا تھا نا آپ اسی بیچ میں کہ وہ ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن ان کے پاس نہیں ہوتے, تو وہ یہ, اور جہاں پہ یہ آرگنائزیشن ہوتے ہیں یہ پڑھے لکھی آرگنائزیشن.
کل وہی صاحب نے بات چھیڑی تھی کہ جی ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن. دیکھیں آپ جب ایک گورنمنٹ کے ادارے میں, جب آپ سپوز برٹش آفس میں جاتے ہیں پاسپورٹ بنانے, تو وہ برٹش آفس کی ذمہ داری ہے کہ آپ ان کو ڈیٹا دیتے ہیں اپنا, اور وہ ڈیٹا آپ کا پروٹیکٹ ہوتا ہے. آپ کسی بھی ادارے میں جائیں تو وہ آپ وہاں پہ اس ادارے کی ذمہ داری ہے کہ جی آپ کا ڈیٹا ان کے پاس جا رہا ہے. آپ کسی پرائیویٹ آدمی کو جا کے اپنا ڈیٹا نہیں دیتے کہ آپ کا ڈیٹا آگے کنوے کرتے, بیکاز یو گو اینڈ ڈو اٹ ڈائریکٹلی. آپ کا اپنا ڈیٹا ہے, آپ ہاسپٹل میں جاتے ہیں, آپ کا ڈیٹا از پروٹیکٹڈ, کسی اور کو وہ ڈیٹا نہیں مل سکتا. تو ایز گورنمنٹ آرگنائزیشن, کانسولیٹس, ہائی کمیشنز آل اوور دا ورلڈ, سب دنیا کی, دے آر ریسپانسبل کہ آپ جب وہاں ڈیٹا دیں گے تو وہ ان کے پاس رہے گا.
بھائی آپ اس سوال کا پوچھنے کا یہ مقصد تھا,
آدمی کو یہاں وہ دیں گے تو دیٹ از یور ریسپانسبلٹی اگر کل کو کوئی بھی لیکیج ہوتا ہے. اور آج کے دور میں جہاں پہ سیکورٹی از اے بگ ایشو ایوری ویئر ان دا ورلڈ, میرا خیال ہر بندے کو کیئرفل ہونا چاہیے اس میں.
آپ کو سوال کرنے کا یہ مقصد تھا کیونکہ یہاں پہ جو ہوتے ہیں یہ سب کچھ آن لائن ہے, وہاں ان کے پاس انفارمیشن تو رہتا ہی نہیں, وہ ڈیٹا تو ایکسچینج ہوتا ہی نہیں, وہ اسٹریٹ اوے آن لائن فل کر دیتے ہیں, تو یہ تو ڈیٹا ہینڈل کرتے ہی نہیں. سو ان کے لیے ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن ایکٹ ان کے لیے ہوتا ہے جن نے وہ انفارمیشن یا ڈیٹا ہینڈل کیا ہے, تو وہ ان پہ یہ چارج تو نہیں لگ سکتا نا کہ آپ نے ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن کی مس یوز کی ہے, کیونکہ وہ تو سب کچھ آن لائن ہے نا ڈائریکٹ.
دیکھیں وہ کیسے کرتے ہیں, کس طرح کرتے ہیں یہ ادارے, اس کا تو مجھے نہیں اندازہ, لیکن جو کاغذات ہیں وہ اسکین ہوتے ہیں, اس کا بعد میں پرنٹ بھی نکل سکتا ہے. میں یہ نہیں کہتا کہ یہ سارے ادارے کسی کا ڈیٹا کسی کو دیں گے, لیکن خدا نہ خواستہ کل کو کسی کا بھی ڈیٹا مس یوز ہو سکتا ہے, تو اس کا ہمیں خیال رکھنا چاہیے آج کل کے سیکورٹی, ہائی سیکورٹی دور میں.
جی جزاک اللہ خیر, ٹائم کا وقت ہو چکا ہے.
شکریہ. سوال ہے تو آپ بتائیے, آئی کین آنسر.
سوال تو بہت ہیں, وہ تو سب یہ اسی پہ ہیں کیونکہ لوگ یہی ٹیکسٹ کر رہے ہیں ہمیں کہ وہ تو
مجھے پتا ہے وہ ٹیکسٹ وہی لوگ کر رہے ہوں گے جن کو کوئی مسئلہ ہو رہا ہوگا نا اس کے بارے میں. لیکن میں یہ بتا دوں 11 تاریخ کو انشاءاللہ ہم شیفیلڈ میں دوبارہ آ رہے ہیں اور سرجری کریں گے, اور نائکاپ اٹیسٹیشن اور ویزاز کے لیے, اور کسی کو اور سوال کرنے ہوں گے تو انشاءاللہ we are open to questions.
اگر یہ نادرا کا سسٹم جو آپ نے آن لائن اویلیبل کر چکے ہیں,
ہم نے نہیں کیا جی. دیکھیں ہم کچھ نہیں کرتے, یہ میں لیٹ می میک اٹ ویری کلیئر, یہ ہم کانسولیٹ یا ہائی کمیشن کی ڈیسیژن نہیں ہوتی, یہ گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان کی ڈیسیژن ہوتی ہے. وہاں سے وہ سرجریز بھی وہی کھولتے ہیں, سرجریز بھی وہی بند کرتے ہیں, آن لائن اگر انہوں نے کھولا ہے یا بند کرنا ہے وہ بھی وہیں سے ہوتا ہے. وی آر اونلی ہیئر ٹو امپلیمنٹ دا لاز اینڈ دا انسٹرکشنز بائی دیم.
یہ کہ ٹیکسٹ ہمارے پاس آئے تھے یہ تو ضرور پڑھوں گا کیونکہ یہ یسٹرڈے بھی وہ وہاں پہ اٹھایا گیا تھا سوال, اور آپ نے کلیریفیکیشن دی ہے. آپ آج بھی کلیریفیکیشن دے دیں کیونکہ یہ جو نیوز پیپر کی سٹوریز جو آ چکی ہیں, مسٹری جو انٹرنیشنل جنگ نیوز میں ہیں, 975 پاسپورٹس پاکستان کے وہ مسنگ ہو گئے تھے برمنگھم کے. براڈفورڈ پہ بھی وہ ایکوزیشن لگ رہے ہیں, یہ گلیئرنگ فائنانس potential irregularities found in Pakistan's UK mission. تو یہ یہاں پہ ان کے خلاف
لیٹ می ٹیل یو جی یہ جو برمنگھم کا ہے چونکہ میرا علاقہ نہیں ہے لیکن اتنا مجھے پتا ہے کہ یہ صرف 20 یا 21 پاسپورٹس یہ بھی کچھ سال 8-10 سال پہلے مس پلیس ہوئے تھے اور وہ کسی کے ڈیٹا اس میں نہیں تھا. بریڈفرڈ میں آج تک کوئی پاسپورٹ نہ ویزا گما ہے یا چوری ہوا ہے. یہ صرف کل بھی ان صاحب نے سوال کیا تھا, یہ وہی لوگ کر رہے ہیں جن کو پرابلم ہو رہا ہے. تو میرا خیال ہمیں ان چیزوں پہ نہیں جانا چاہیے. اور یہ جب کسی ایک اخبار میں خبر بھی آئی تھی برمنگھم کے بارے میں تو آئی ریمبر اس کی کلیریفیکیشن بھی آ گئی تھی.
وہ آخری ایشو تو یہی ہے,
آئی تھنک اس کو نہ پروموٹ کیا جائے تو زیادہ بہتر ہے. یہ میں اس آپ کے ریڈیو سے ان اصحاب کو بھی کہوں گا کہ جن کو کوئی پرابلم ہو رہا ہے یا جن کو کوئی مسئلہ ہے کہ پلیز اگر آپ کو کوئی بات ہے وی آر اوپن, آپ آئیں ہم سے بات چیت کریں اور بجائے کہ ایک غلط چیز کو ہم پروموٹ کریں اور غلط چیز کے لیے ہم پروپیگنڈا کریں. میرا خیال ہمیں اس چیز میں نہیں پڑنا
وہ
چاہیے.
بار بار یہی بات کہہ رہے ہیں کیونکہ وہ 10 پاؤنڈ فی جو اپلیکیشن ہوتی ہے نا, آپ کہتے ہیں وہ گورنمنٹ کی طرف سے ہے,
وہ گورنمنٹ کی طرف سے وہ ہمارے اکاؤنٹ میں نہیں جاتی. اگر ان کو اس پہ ہے کہ ہم لیتے ہیں تو یہ درخواست لکھیں گورنمنٹ کو, لکھیں کہ جی یہ 10 پاؤنڈ ہے اور رسید ملتی ہے ان کو.
ہاں کیونکہ وہ یہ لوگ یہاں پہ کہہ رہے ہیں
وہ رسید ملتی ہے. دیکھیں وہ کہنے کی یا وہ ان کے کہنے کی یا کوئی بات نہیں, وہ حکومت کی فیس ہے. لوگ 10 قسم کی باتیں کریں گے, 20 قسم کی باتیں کریں گے. جو حکومت کی فیس ہے, پبلش فیس ہے, ہم وہ لیتے ہیں, اس کے علاوہ کوئی
وہ یہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ یہ بہت ایکسیسو ہے. اگر 72 پاؤنڈ
ہے تو آپ درخواست لکھیں جی, ہم گورنمنٹ کو پہنچائیں گے کہ فیس ایکسیسو ہے, اس کو کم کریں.
آپ کونسلر جنرل ہونے کی حیثیت سے آپ یہ نہیں کر سکتے ہمارے جو ریڈیو اسٹیشن.
میں آپ کو بتا دوں, بریڈفرڈ میں لوگوں نے مجھے اپلیکیشنز دی ہیں کہ یہ فیس ایکسیسو ہے, ہم نے منسٹری آف انٹیریئر کو بھجوا دی ہیں. اگر شیفیلڈ میں کوئی سمجھتا ہے کہ فیس زیادہ ہے ہمیں لکھ کے بھیجے, ہم اس کو بھی منسٹری آف انٹیریئر کو پہنچا دیں گے.
بہت بہت شکریہ جی احمد امجد علی, شکریہ, بہت شکریہ, اللہ حافظ. Thank you very much. That's the Consul General of Pakistan then. There is his views and not the views necessarily of Iman FM. He was questioned there, and now I'll open the line up for 3-4 minutes up until the ad breaks. If anybody wants to come on the airwaves and speak, you can speak. We've got some text messages. I'll go through the text messages as follows. Salam, we were told there would be no fees, so why was extra money charged? He has asked, the Consul General have stated that if you have an issue with the £10 in fees, make a darkhast or write it down and go take it to the Consul General of Pakistan, and he will pass that to the government and obviously have a word with that. Receipts can be manufactured anyway. That's a comment that somebody else sent in. Do put your name to these messages as well. I would love to know who I'm speaking to. Raja Khushnood Khan, thank you very much for your message. We'll come to yours in a short while. Let's go to line 2 then, and join us line 2. Let's see who's joining us. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Walaikum salam, Rauf. Sabir, how you doing, all right?
Sabir bhai, we've got 60 seconds to the ad breaks. Let's have you.
Just a small question, obviously, just going to put it through. I went to Bradford Consulate last year, and the Commissioner of Office was so embarrassing. As a Pakistani, I felt very insulted, and that needs to be looked at, because if the wider community goes there, they see the situation of that office. It tells us what type of people we are, and I felt it was so embarrassing when I walked into that office.
So you felt embarrassed walking into that office?
Yeah, it's the consulate building and the offices. There's a lot of health and safety issue, and it's deteriorated beyond belief.
I think they're in the process of buying another one, actually. He announced it on a couple of weeks show. I had so many questions lined up for these guys from the community in Sheffield and the event last night that we couldn't touch upon some of the good work the consulate is doing, because unfortunately the questions were coming in as such. But inshallah, we're going to try and get him on another time. We're going to talk about the new plans for the new office that they've bought as well.
They've done a lot of work now, so things are improving anyway.
Do you think credit's due where it is? The guy's quite sincere. What do you think to him? What do you think to this new consulate general?
He's answered well, but you can't please everybody. But things have improved now, because you can get caught within a couple of weeks, and before it could take months and months, and it has made some improvements anyway.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. So much time to the ad breaks, and we're a bit late. Thank you, Sabir bhai, as always, for joining us. That's by Sabir of Rotherham, and Jazakallah khair to him as well. It's time for the ad breaks here at Iman FM. Before I get a kick off the management for ad breaks, we better go to them.
کمیونٹی ہے آواز ایمان ایف ایم.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম আমার নাম মোহাম্মদ মতিউর রহমান আমার সাথে আছেন মৌলানা আবু সাইদ কামালি সাহেব আমরা প্রতি বৃহস্পতিবারে বাংলা প্রোগ্রাম প্রেজেন্টেশন করব সকাল 10টা থেকে 11:30 পর্যন্ত সাথে বাংলাদেশ সিলেটের খবর থাকবে এই দেশের খবর থাকবে এবং আমাদের লোকাল কমিউনিটি সম্বন্ধে আমরা আলোচনা করব আপনারা শুনে থাকবেন থ্যাংক ইউ ধন্যবাদ
In a world where accident claims are poorly managed and the referral fees paid are so low, and just when all hope is lost in the city of Sheffield, a hero emerges. A hero so powerful, one phone number is all you need. A hero named Mr. Compensator. For your referral fee of £2,000, call Mr. Compensator now on 0114 3863 386. Terms and conditions apply.
ओ दोस्ता बनी ठणी तक किथे तैयारियां नी
मैं जुलियन जुमेरा
ओ दुबई जा रहे
नहीं जुमेरा स्पाइस रेस्टोरेंट
उथे क्या खास है
1976 दी देसी रवायती खाने जेड़े पाकिस्तान ने जाने माने शेफ बनाने ने खाई दा वतन नी याद अच्छा है लैम चाप चिकन बोटी लीवर टिक्का चिकन काबली मेन डिशां विच देसी स्टाइल हाउस स्पेशल कढ़ाइयां ते बाल्टी डिशां अच्छी तरह खाओ या डिलीवरी कराओ
जुमेरा स्पाइस रेस्टोरेंट 1 The Common Actresfield Sheffield S35 9WJ 01142 467 238
मैं जा रही हूँ द बाजार में
For a great happy shopping day, visit the bazaar. You will love the new bazaar.
जहाँ पर हर तरह के नए फैशन अच्छी कीमतों के साथ खुले हैं.
Visit the bazaar at Syme Street, BD1 3RB, former Rawson Market.
Open every Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Also every Wednesday at Leeds Kirkgate Market.
The Bazaar, जहां आपको हर किस्म की चीज मिल सकती है.
The bazaar. Ooh yeah.
नाम मेरा नूरिन लतीफ है और पहचान कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट कोट मीरपुर है 2005 के होलनाक ज़लज़ले ने सब रिश्ते और सहारे छीन लिए फिर जिंदगी ने हर सवाल का जवाब पाया कोट से
कोट एजुकेशनल कॉम्प्लेक्स जड़ीकस मीरपुर के फेज 2 में हॉस्टल्स की तामीर जारी है आपका ताउन और सरपरस्ती की जरूरत है कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट 0300 123 774 court.org.uk
Your voice matters for your community. Here at Eman FM, we're looking for presenters. Would you like to step into the media industry? Are you interested in being a radio presenter? Can you talk about local issues? Do you want to serve your community? If the answer is yes, then contact Eman Media now on 0114 242 0551 or email info@emanfm.com.
ओ दोस्ता ओ मेरी स्पीडिंग टिकट है मैं क्या करा
तू खान सोलिसिटर्स की कॉल कर उन्हां कोल स्पेशल टीम ही जेडी रोड ट्रैफिक केसेस रेड लाइटां नो इंश्योरेंस तो किनी के इमिग्रेशन फ्रॉड मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग पर्सनल इंजरी क्लेम्स सिविल लिटिगेशन ते कत्ल दे केस भी हल करने ने ते जे तुसा समझो कि पुलिस तुस नाल कोई ज्यादती कीती है ते ओ कंपनसेशन भी दुआने ने ओ खान चढ़ा माड़ी जान
Khan Solicitors 351 Abbeydale Road Sheffield 0114 258 3399
Eman FM. This is Eman FM. You are listening Eman FM 103.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum then. For all of you guys that are joining us, you're listening to the Drive Time on Eman FM 103.1. Your voice, your choice. And when we say that, I mean it. Earlier on, Consulate General of Pakistan, that topic is now closed, by the way. No more calls, no more texts, please. Or text if you want to get texts in. Alhamdulillah, I'll read them out towards the back end of the show. But I want to give these two gentlemen, remarkable gentlemen in my studio, the time. Because they take out the time to represent the community, the drivers, the workers out there that are busy driving their cars around, having branches flying over them. And I want to give them all the time I possibly can because they do phenomenal works. Let's join them in the studio hopefully in a short while when my screen changes. You can also watch it on Facebook Live, by the way, as well. All you got to go to is Iman TV Online. Iman TV Online. That's right, yeah. IMAN, by the way, and then TV Online. So if those of you want to join us. Right, so let's get started then. Joining me in the studio are two activists within the taxi trade in Sheffield. One is Ibrahim Hussain, who's the secretary of GMB Union in Sheffield, and also then joining me in the studio is an activist for Alpha, which is another association, private hire association, and the chairperson of that association, Alpha, is joining me in the studio, and he is Lee Ward. First of all, let's greet them all. First of all, greet you, Lee Ward. How are you?
I'm fine, mate.
Good. I know you know a bit of Urdu dialogue as well. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
That's good. So how are you? Ki haal hai?
Tic tac.
That'll do. Fantastic. Also joining us in the studio is former councillor Ibrahim Hussain, who's a member of the GMB Union. He's the secretary of the branch, I believe. He's joining me in the studio as well. So first of all, a very warm assalamu alaikum to you as well.
Walaikum salam. As they say, top of the morning. In Irish, top of the morning.
Good. I've heard you've been a busy man today with all suited and booted.
Yes, I've been to the licensing board meeting, which was at 2 p.m. and the meeting was with regards to the limitation policy for the Hackney carriages. I will update you on that, and also I think me and Lee will discuss the planned protest for the Tuesday the 28th, which is next week, 28th of February.
Alright, so limitation policy, that's an interesting word. Lee, what does limitation mean?
The amount of vehicles that are licensed for cabs in Sheffield is currently capped at 857.
So are the council thinking of getting rid of
increasing them? What happens every 3 years, there has to be an independent survey carried out, and that survey needs to give the unmet demand. And because if you apply for a Hackney carriage license and council doesn't give you a Hackney carriage license plate as a known in trade, then if they haven't got evidence, the court will throw it out. To back that up, the survey has to be carried out in a circle of every 3 years. How the Department of Transport have set the conditions and everything. So that's been, ever since I've been in trade, that's what's been happening when the limitation was removed.
Let's put you both to the test. A lot of people have said on social media, by the way, we'll go through some of the comments on there as well. This is no Alpha versus GMB, by the way, lads. So for those of you that are asking to provoke each one of them,
so this is www.gmbvalpha.fight.com Iman TV live.
Well, that's you wish it was.
Hashtag fight.
We're not going to go down that man. But let's see. Do you both agree on the limitation policy? Do you think obviously it needs to be limited, or why not open it up though? What kind of consequences are there going to be, Lee?
Open the cabs up to unlimited.
Why have a limitation?
For one very simple reason: there is nowhere to park them. There is no ranks out there. You have a look on a Saturday night, or in fact any time of day, and these guys don't have the facilities to rank up and work as a cab, and they sure can't afford fuel to keep driving round hoping someone sticks their hand out.
Interesting thoughts. Right, so both of you gentlemen are here in the studio today talking about this.
But let me you asked a question. Let me give you a response. In 2000, October, the limitation was taken off. We were 300. And now we're 857 cabs licensed. If there is no limitation, the problem is the capacity, the ranks, everything, and the work. So we've got a massive problem. That's why the survey has to be done. But the council decision today is agreed that the limitation will remain at 857. So there'll be no more extra licenses issued for the next 3 years. But also the Hackney carriage vehicle age specification and everything else, consultation will begin round about end of April, May, I think May, for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And many items will discussion. I think one of the most important things that's coming up is vehicle age. and the emissions specification. I think what's happening in Birmingham, Nottingham, all across the country, we need to be very careful. And I mentioned this because at the moment the cab price brand new is 45, but the zero emission is 60k. At the moment it's £700, £730 for 48 months, a monthly, if you buy a cab with a £1,500 to £3,000 deposit. So it's like a mortgage. So we have to be very mindful of that. And the issues are raised. So I think the next consultation, every driver needs to get involved properly and make sure that their views are put in, as part of the consultation.
Right, let's get to our main topic of discussion then. Our main topic of discussion, Lee and Ibrahim, is this protest that's going to be taking place on the 28th. Lee, what's the protest all about?
Main part of the protest is regarding the cross-border hiring that we have serious issues with. It basically reduces where drivers can operate regardless of where they're licensed. That has an impact on saturating any one particular area. I've used the term before that it becomes like a moth to a flame, where they think a bigger city, all the money is there. They don't realise that the drivers are struggling already in those cities, and all it does is dilute exactly what's there to be earned. And at the same time, these guys can't get policed as they can in their own areas. Same as if I was in Doncaster, those guys can't police me and what I do. But if I'm in Sheffield where I'm licensed, then yes, I can get policed. Right. And we're all for a safe environment, obviously, for the customers and the drivers.
Right, Ibrahim, what's your take on this protest then? Because obviously I've not heard much about it. As a driver myself, I'm a taxi driver myself as well. I've never come across a situation where I've seen this in the past couple of weeks knocking about. Are they actually expecting a crowd, and what is it? Because it's GMB have got their name to this as being one of the organisers. Is that right? And where are we going with this? How come many people don't know about it?
Well, a couple of things. In the last couple of weeks, this has been thought the powers to be in London. I think mainly London-led and other areas around the south, in my opinion. GMB is involved, and I think there's other trade associations across the country are involved in this as well. Why are we having this protest? I think that's an important key point. Number one, we've got a cross-border vehicles who are licensed in another area and are working from London. They come and work in Sheffield. That is having a massive impact on a driver who's properly licensed in Sheffield and is having to pay that price. Number two, Transport for London, who's an authority that licenses the vehicles, is issuing licenses like there's no tomorrow. I have heard a figure, which is true or not, is about 1,200 licenses of private hire per month. You just go there, walk in one door, other door, you're out with a license, and then you can come and drive up the north in Sheffield and start driving. In Sheffield, I've done an FOI last night. The last one I did, we had 54. I wonder what has changed, and it will be going towards upwards, not downwards. So
just before you say something, Lee, is this right? 1,200 drivers are coming through the doors from like about 12 to 1,200 drivers a month. Seems very excessive, doesn't it?
500 a week. It peaked at 680 a week. It only slowed down because they were trying to implement a English test at a cost of 180 to 200. That's the figure bouncing around. That's been shelved until September. That's right. And as soon as they shelved that, the applications flooded through again.
Right.
People don't understand what we are facing.
Right.
Drivers, I'm very honest, the drivers generally all over, and I'd say we'll talk about Sheffield, are sleepwalking. They need to wake up. This is not about GMB, Alpha, STTA, C to no. This is about taxi trade, and if there's cab or private hire, irrelevant. You're all being affected. Those 1,200 is an estimate. When we will find out in the near future, however long it takes, well, they are being issued. They are making money from this. And the effects, I've done emails, and I'm sure Lee and others, activists across the country are, because it's not affecting London as London, it's affecting us in other areas, parts, and this is what we are campaigning, that we want the legislation change. One, we want TfL, what it is doing, to stop what it is doing and make it tough, much more onerous and better and proper and regulated. We want companies, private companies, to be regular. Uber has been mentioned. I've got nothing against Uber. I just want it to be, as a private hire company, properly regulated, like City Car is, like other companies in Sheffield are. They need to be driver from Sheffield, vehicle from Sheffield. If you go and pick up a job from here and drop in Manchester, and there's a job in Manchester bringing you back, I have no problem with that. But not job after job, every day, job after job. That is taking mickey. That is abusing the laws and loophole. Some drivers might say, well, why not? Well, you will say that now, but in a few years I think there'll be no trade left. I don't know, I think you will agree with me that, Lee?
Trade's destroyed at the moment, and it needs repairing. Simple as that. But when you say go to Manchester and pick a job up fetching you back to Sheffield, what about a guy in Manchester that might want a job back to Sheffield when it in his area to where it's
but you go to airport.
Yeah.
You drop a job off.
Yeah.
There's a job coming back. But NASA, you might get that one job once a month, one off.
Okay.
No, I get your argument on it, but my argument back is the guys in Manchester that are licensed in Manchester, where that job that's coming to Sheffield is, why shouldn't they have that job?
No, the thing is, that company might ring City Cars as a regular customer from Sheffield.
Oh, that's a return job.
Yeah,
that's not the
There is a problem with that.
Let's talk about the council in this, because the council inevitably, at one of the last council meetings, which was recorded, it was televised by all of you guys. You were all there. Sheffield South Council decided to put a condition on Uber where they had to have a Sheffield office, they had to have a phone number available for customers, and a customer could have a point of contact. So that was the council's way of addressing things. Did that not help resolve any of Uber's issues?
With regards to Uber directly?
Yeah.
Well, no, because the direct contact phone number was never implemented. Uber basically in the meeting said that we're challenging TfL for that ruling in court. So they basically said, we'll do the same to you. So they dropped it straight away.
Yeah.
Right.
They dropped it like a hot potato, actually.
So it seems like Sheffield City Council's in a big mess in the sense that they don't know what to do with this. So what I'm trying to get behind is the concept of you guys coming out and protesting, both the unions, all the associations that are coming across with this. What is the exact purpose, Lee, and what will the drivers be doing, and what will they be fighting for?
This is very simple, really. The government say, and it's in black and white, say that it's up to local councils to police it.
Okay.
And the local councils turn around and said the government needs to sort it because we've got no powers to police it. So they're literally just blaming each other. And while they're blaming each other, this is just snowballing and getting worse and worse and worse. You know, it used to be Rosendale working in Sheffield. Then you've got your Rotherham guys that working on Uber platform came to Sheffield. Now you've got TfL London cars coming to Sheffield. Look, they don't come to Sheffield to work and then go home. Let's be straight. These guys live in Sheffield and have chose to go and get licensed where it's easy to get a license and license your vehicle,
and come back
and walk out the door where they live and go to work.
What's the inevitable solution? What's the solution to this situation?
Close the boundaries, close the barriers, put it as it should be. If you're licensed in an area, work in that area. It's actually illegal. I pointed this out on your show the other night. Unfortunately, Steve didn't have an answer for it. But it's actually illegal to be sat in an area where you're not licensed waiting for a job. You have to have a pre-booked job. That's how the free license rule works.
That's what you're saying, intent.
But how do you catch these people? How do you
only have to observe them. They only have to be sat in their vehicle, logged onto the system, 10 minutes maximum, that's it. They're applying for hire. It's not difficult to do because they'll very quickly pick on you if you're having a cigarette in your car, won't they? They don't observe you long before they jump down on your neck for that.
Okay. So you feel as though that needs to be done. So inevitably when drivers are coming out then, bro, I'll ask you, is when drivers are inevitably coming out and they're coming out to protest on the 28th, what can they kind of expect in regards to the atmosphere and the mood? What is it? Is it all down in London? As you said, GMB is doing massive thing in London. What happens with the troops here in Sheffield, the drivers that have been affected in Sheffield, Doncaster, Rotherham and local councils here?
Well, as for the GMB union for the regions, Yorkshire region, we pulled together. We said that the main point will be Sheffield. So we're asking all the drivers across our region to join. And in York, I think they're doing their own demonstration, so they are, and there's no problem. Main focus is London. Ours is coming out and showing our strength and our opinion to the government to say we've had enough, we need to be heard, and this law needs to change and they need to act. This is the first step only. Now we will be outside the town hall steps at 1 o'clock, approximately 1 o'clock there, and to get our message across and publicize to the powers to be that the taxi trades are being affected and drivers are coming out in their numbers to say this is wrong. And as Leah said as well, together we're saying the same thing, that if the driver is licensed, vehicle licensed, same area, they should be working in that area.
So the events of the 28th, where are people meeting? What's the format? What are the speakers? And how will things be done?
We decided yesterday how we're going to do everything. Unfortunately, I won't be here after, but other colleagues will be dealing with the whole matter on the day. Okay. I will be away. Okay. I'm going to be away.
So you've decided a trade protest without involving the trade? Way to go.
Lee, what do you say to it? Go on, let's have...
I'm finished.
Carry on now.
Before you do, though, but I do want to talk about a couple of questions that have got in already, but I also want to be conscious of our phone lines here as well, which the call's dropped off. If you want to ring back in, guys, it's 0142425 and the text messages is 07885559786. There's a text message that's coming as well. Please put your name to these messages. Is there no local coordination? Is GMB separate and Alpha separate?
No, sorry.
No, I'd like to think we're working together on this. I did bring this protest and issue to yourself other day.
Okay,
I have worked with them since, but I've had no feedback on us all together planning and how we're going to plan and do this protest in Sheffield.
I'm going to be very honest to you, and I'm going to say to you that it just seems that
why don't we be just on it?
well, I'm on it in the sense that you guys are. It just seems
Can I just come back?
Organisation.
Can I just come back? I was at a meeting yesterday in Wakefield, and it was agreed yesterday.
Okay.
I spoke to Lee last night at about 12 o'clock in the midnight. Because I won't be here after I was dealing with this matter, I have spoken to Altaf and our committee. I think Lee, Aftab, they will need to have a discussion how they're going to do everything on the day. I think it's a very simple process. We all have to, I think the best venue is outside town hall. I think Lee was suggesting that we have a slow drive. We were suggesting that we stand outside the town hall with placards and make the speeches and be seen that we've come out. So I think there isn't...
How much coverage do you think stood out?
I don't know.
Some Cold Town Hall steps is going to get. If we want the public to know that this industry needs help, basically. Let's be honest, it needs help.
It
needs somebody to stand up there and say, yeah, this is wrong and it does need addressing. So it stood on Town Hall steps isn't going to do this.
There are two approaches, and I think that could be resolved, and the trade needs to work on that to make sure that happens. I mean, Aftab and
I have someone's in trouble. There's a stripper there.
No, he's actually the Chief Superintendent, Rob Odell, which will be me in a short while. He's coming in for his interview next. Can it be known that Roads Association for Rotherham supports Alpha from Sheffield on this movement, and it's urging people to get behind as well. So that's the message from there. People are saying that things have not been organised properly. So just in regards to organisation and how things are flowing, I'm still very unclear as to where things are, time and speakers, and also the option of drive-through, has that been totally off the table? Is the table, or is that still there? Or are people still going to be doing a drive-through?
I think that's the only way to get this across. If they want to see what flooding of a market does with too many vehicles, then do a drive slow, because a drive slow is exactly that, when too many vehicles are on a road. So let's give them a brief glimpse of the future.
Bro, what do you say to his drive-through?
I have no problem with that. Unfortunately, I won't be here. I'm abroad on that day. But
what about the rest of members of your team?
I think that is this is. I think they need to have a discussion. But one of the decisions that has been made from GMB is that they will be outside the town hall at 1 o'clock. I know of that, and I don't agree even with that approach what Lee is saying, because this has to be done. And if one drives slow, one demonstrates, it's a joint effect and effort. At the same time, this is the first step. We have to do something.
What are the numbers, Lee? How many people are going to be attending this? How many people have you got confirmed at this moment in time?
I'd be guessing, because all I've got is support and people saying that they're going to join. I've not made a log, I've not made a list, so I'm not going to make a figure, because it might be 3 times that or a quarter that.
I know people like Rhodes and certain other organisations in Rotherham are quite supportive of yourself.
But they have to come out. Rotherham, I've got Derby, Wolverhampton, Liverpool, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Southend, Southampton. That's all what I've got together over the last 3 or 4 days of working on this.
But they'll be demonstrating in their own areas.
Yeah, in their own area, yeah.
Well, the message to the drivers, Nasser, is that they need to come, the drivers, whether it's black cab drivers or private hire drivers, they need to come out and support their trade representatives, whether they are members or not members of any organisation, but they need to come out if they want to save their trade.
Well, I've had confirmation of SETA and STTA. They're all joining in.
Okay.
They're fully supportive of it. It's not a two-tier system that we're protesting against.
Everyone together.
It's the boundaries.
I'm going to give you both 2 minutes each, and I want you to sum up why drivers should come out, because they're out there listening, and they're more than likely they'll be either working, they'll be picking up a job, they'll make family commitments, they'll have other things to do. What's important about this? And obviously this is the concept of out-of-town vehicles, but there are so many that have affected Sheffield and Rotherham's trade, because of Rotherham is a very key player to this as well, because they've seen out-of-town vehicles in huge numbers on a certain firm that have come through Sheffield. There is some concerns that I do want to pick up as well. If we've got time, we'll do that. But a couple of minutes each, just as to why drivers should come out, and those friends and colleagues that are listening of yours, to actually motivate them to come out. So I'll start off with yourself, Lee, and then I'll come to you, bro.
Quite simply, that the industry has changed. A good post by Stephen Anderson in Taxi Forum today explained what the culture has changed. There's less people going to pubs. The pubs aren't open at the usual hours. So that pie that we all eat from, that is taxi users, has diminished, but the feeders off it have increased.
Okay.
So we need to shut down on the boundaries. We can't afford anymore for people to sit back and just say, let somebody else deal with it, let somebody else argue it. If you want to be a boiling frog, you're going to wake up dead. Okay. It's time to act, and act now. And I don't care if it's a Hackney, I don't care if it's a black car, a private hire, I don't care if what union they're in or even not in, but to spend a couple of hours of your time on Tuesday, support this and get our voices heard, because they need to be heard now. We all the usual channels that everybody has to go down, right into MPs, right into local councillors, various meetings. We've done all that, and we're getting ignored.
Where has it got you?
Nowhere. Frustrated, grey-haired, Stella.
Okay, Ibra.
Well, I think the issue is, if you want to save your industry, the taxi industry, you want to save your job and your income, then don't just give the support in words. Come yourself, drive down and support the trade, be there. Unless you don't do that, the whole trade is going to be finished. It's going to be badly affected. You mentioned Rotherham, just Rotherham. There's other areas. Wherever I go, I get the same thing. They are all affected and badly affected. We can't just keep on talking. It's time drivers stood up and spoke loud and clear.
Do you know, this question's for you, because you're a former councillor, and former councillor in that capacity, the MP's request, the councillors, Paul Blomfield was in here. We asked him about the cross-border issue. He said he's already taking this up. But where is the results? Why are these elected politicians not helping us?
Well, the problem is not that. The problem is that we have a government. We have a conservative government whose ideology is to keep the market free. If they are not going to listen to us, and we've already had meetings with them and everything, the end result is the government. We have to put the pressure and convince the government. There is no easy quick solution to this, but we have to keep on raising our voice and keep on making sure that they know that we are alive and kicking, and we will keep on knocking on every door I can, and I'm sure others will as well, with all the MPs. Every day I'm writing to whoever I can to make sure that this is changed. It's a simple fact, but ideological issue this is.
Do you think the government don't think, let's get 1 million people off at Dole and put them into taxis self-employed? That makes our figure look good. Let's just forget to tell everybody that we're paying a load out in tax credits to support a saturated market now.
Some text messages that have come through I want to quickly touch on. It says, Salam Nasrov, you are the rose between two thorns. Are GMB and Alpha open to national standards and a national test across the country, Arshad? I'll put that to Lee.
Do they want one national taxi badge? I will say no.
No.
That's it. You've got your reply, Arshad Saab. Qadir Saab says, pathetic. What important is showing one's self-importance. Less work and more drivers. but his brother is talking about GMB, like it or lump it. That's some of the things he sent. And also Kazimir that's talked to us on Facebook Live, he says go slow, nobody takes any notice of protests outside town hall. So that's in favour of Lee there. Ibrahim, do you think you'll be having a words with your colleagues following on from some of the feedback we've had here, and people are very supportive of this drive slow business? Are you going to be passing this on to the rest of your colleagues?
Well, I think it's not just working with emotions. I think you've got to work with your head as well. And I think my colleagues are very sensible, and a sensible approach has to take place.
Lee?
I thought you weren't a politician anymore. Answer the question, man.
I've answered the question he's asked. I have given an answer to what he...
Will you be passing it on to your colleagues?
I said my colleagues...
Do you think they're going to support the drive?
My colleagues are sensible people.
If one of the associations that you're a part of, you're about helping the drivers out there, if you're a part of it, then would you agree with Lee Ward's concept that something more bold needs to be done? Because politicians are being wrote to, councillors are being wrote to, they're not being listened to.
I think you always have to take the first step, and the second step will always follow.
Okay.
I think that is the way forward.
I'm not going to quite get there, but Lee, drive slow. You've got a bit of support here, but inevitably, politicians and councils, is that still an option with you, or is that like done and dusted? We'll put it to bed because that's not going to work anymore, or are you keeping your avenues open?
How many times do you ask your kids to put the phone down before you take it off them?
Snatch it off them.
You snatch it off them. That's why Bra says.
No, you're putting them on notice.
Okay. So he says snatch it off them. So do you agree with that approach? Put an end to it.
Put an end to it. Let's look. You can write as many emails as you want, and you can stand on the steps.
Why do people like him feel the way they do?
The problem it's not whether they like him or they hate him. That's not the problem for me. The problem is the Sheffield City Council cannot change the legislation. The legislation is going to be changed by Parliament. So we are, there is nothing wrong with his approach, and there's nothing wrong with our approach.
Okay.
There isn't any problem with that. I have no problem with that.
I'll take you back to 2000, where truck drivers got fed up of rising costs in fuel.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember
Tony
that.
Blair, Prime Minister.
Yeah, they did all the talks. They did all the emails. What emails were? It was not as much
Whatever,
nowadays, but they did all that.
Yeah.
They did all the conversations, and they weren't listened to.
They blocked.
So they did protests.
Yeah, what happened then?
It brought the country to a standstill.
What happened then?
Then they got listened.
And what happened after?
What do you want?
They got nothing.
Just like Jack and Ora.
They got nothing. At the end, government did what government did.
Did they not get people understand?
No,
did they not get people?
no.
Did they not get the message across?
The government was more smarter.
Tell me what's happened from standing on steps with a placard saying, "Ooh, I don't like this."
And what are you going to achieve by driving?
What are you going to achieve by standing on some town hall steps?
Who will know?
You're going to shout up to the window in a second. You reply to that email, please.
I think the only way that the change is going to come is going to be in London. To be very honest with you, they are going to bring London to standstill. There are 4 gateways into the London city centre. If one of them gets all of the M5 is gone, and all the gateways blocked, the whole of London will be absolute, and the country will be affected.
Is London the central to solving this problem?
Yes.
Lee,
sorry.
Is it?
Sorry.
Is it?
Do you want me to phone in? I might get a word in.
Come on.
Yes, it is a big part of it, but it also gets assisted by the protests around the country as well. It is a big part of it. There's no two ways about it. But London doesn't mean that London have the right to decide what goes off in the rest of the country.
If the drive-through goes ahead quickly, because the drive-through goes ahead, where would it be going ahead?
The drive-through will go ahead.
Yep.
It will go ahead, and to tie up with what you are doing, because obviously he's going to have a word with his colleagues, but it's quite plain that they're doing it on the town hall steps. So we will drive past the town hall steps and support your action.
Very good. We support you.
How's that?
So complementing one another. We're going to finish on that. We're going to finish on that unit because it's time for the ad breaks here at Iman FM.
No problem.
So Alavis, thank you very much, guys, for sharing it. The word is from Alpha. I've got the chief superintendent outside, and I've got to talk about EDL because that's going to be a big thing in Rotherham as well. So that's coming up as well. Don't go anywhere. The guys on Facebook are live. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
For the community, by the community, Iman FM, 103.1 FM.
The message of Ahlul Bayt.
आलन नबी मन माता बिहुब्बे आले मुहम्मदिन माता शहीदा जो कोई मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद की मोहब्बत में मरा उसने शहादत पा ली.
Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday 8 to 10 p.m. only on Iman FM.
In the city of Sheffield, if you ever have an accident, do not fear. Mr. Compensator is here. He can provide you with a taxi, prestige, or 4x4 replacement vehicle in just 2 hours. Call 0114-3863-386 or visit mrcompensator.co.uk and let the experts manage your claim.
जरा गड्डी रोको ये क्या भीड़ भड़क नजर आ रहा है
हवलदार साहब ये सब जायका के लिए आए हैं
वो जायका
ये लोग जायका टेक अवे के जायकेदार खानों का जायका लेने आए हुए हैं फिश मसाला नान चिकन टिक्का नान लैम्ब टिक्का नान शीश टिक्का नान
मैं सद के जाऊं वो जायका कबाब्स एंड स्वीट्स पर
जायका से ताजा मिठाइयाँ और कढ़ाई गोश्त भी मिलता है
जायका कबाब एंड स्वीट्स 2 to 4 Chippingham Place Sheffield telephone 01142425 800 Zaika also at 66 Wellgate Rotherham telephone 01709 300 400.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Khalil Muhammad coming to you with an urgent appeal. One Community has established the first Islamic education, deaf and special educational needs centre where deaf Muslims and non-Muslims can attend Islamic classes to learn more about Islam using sign language.
However, this centre is under serious threat and we need your Qarz-e Hasna, a beautiful loan and your zakat to help us keep it open. Please visit our website islamfordeaf.co.uk, that's Islam FORDEAF.co.uk or give us a call on 0121 291 7847.
Do you suffer from baldness? At Cosmetica Clinics, we may have a permanent solution for you. Our experienced team provides perfect hair transplantation with maximum density and natural results. Over 15 years experience. Get your hair back with the latest microfew transplantation and stem cell support. No scars, no stitches, pain-free process. Book your appointment today by visiting cosmetica.com or via WhatsApp or Viber on 0739 339 1024.
Equity Law Chambers Solicitors. When your rights are at stake, you need experienced defence lawyers. The law firm of Equity Law. Our experienced team of professionals can assist you in all matters including family law, immigration, criminal law, drug offences, road traffic cases, fraud and money laundering. Call us today for expert advice on 01709 36 86 03 or visit us at elc-solicitors.co.uk. Equity Law Chambers Solicitors, advocating your rights.
Had an accident, not your fault. Car and Solicitors, a team of professionals dedicated to winning you 100% compensation with free advice and assistance. Over 15 years of experience assisting you with road traffic accidents, trips, slips, employer's liability. We can recover your uninsured losses, i.e. vehicle damage, recovery, storage and loss of earnings. Car and Solicitors, 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Come see us or call 0114 258 3399 or visit carandsolicitors.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back from the ad breaks here at Iman FM. Apologies for it being a bit late. I think I'm making a habit of that now. But thanks to you for all of those that are tuning in and people that are still watching on Facebook as well. We're going to move on to our next topic. It's been a very busy drive time show. We've spoken to the Consul General of Pakistan as well. And we've also spoken of various activities within the taxi trade with Lee Ward, representation of Alpha, and also representation of GMB, Ibrahim Hussain. Many of you guys are still texting in as well. And we want to give a mention to your text messages. Drive slow is a good idea and it will bring more drivers from and that's Ali that's texted in. And it also this is the time for all drivers to get together and save the taxi trade. Every driver needs to come to the protest to make the difference. That's Irfan Saab. Thank you very much for your text message as well. And and there's people that are making personal comments about unions. I don't want to get in touch with all that lot. Let's talk about positive things. Let's talk about unity and strength, because that's where the solutions lie. Talking about negative things isn't really going to get us anywhere. Abdul Rahim, thank you very much for your Facebook comments, Facebook Live comments. We're going to move on to our next topic here on Drive Time, and that is talking about the English Defence League and talking about the demonstrations planned for this Saturday. It's not been hidden from any of you. You've been following it on this week's Drive Time show. We've spoken to people like Dr. Alan Billings, the Police Crime Commissioner. We spoke to... we attempted to contact the Rotherham Council. We spoke to Damien Wilson there last night as well, briefly for 5-10 minutes regarding the march as well. Following on from that, I'll give it with great pleasure to announce that we've managed to get the Chief Superintendent, Rob Odell, here in our studios at Iman FM to talk through some of the planned routes and some of the causes for concern which the community still have that have been texting in to us all week. So I'm glad all of you guys are joining on Facebook as well. And if you have any questions for the Chief Superintendent, do get in touch with us here. 0142425 and our text number 07885599786 then. So let's greet a warm welcome to our Chief Superintendent for Rotherham, and that is Rob Odell. First of all, a very good evening to you, and thank you for coming on to Drive Time.
Nasser, thank you for inviting me. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, Rob, let's talk about... You're quite new to this post, aren't you? We had previously other chief superintendents.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the role?
I've been here about 12 months now, so familiarity with Rotherham is good. I've served in Rotherham before as a sergeant in '97, so I know the district pretty well. It has a familiar feel to me returning to Rotherham, so pleased to be its commander and very proud to be.
Big challenge for you, isn't it, with some of the stuff that's gone off in Rotherham, a lot of trust lost, especially in the wake of Hillsborough disaster and other CSE related issues that have arisen in Rotherham. It must be a big challenge and big boots to fill.
Absolutely. There are no easy roles in policing. Rotherham is at the front of that, I expect, and I was pleased to be given and trusted with the challenge by the Chief. So I've been a Chief Superintendent for quite some time. It was a new challenge for me, and again I was glad to return to Rotherham.
How are you finding things in Rotherham as well? This is obviously it's a challenge, as you said, and any policing job is a challenge at this moment in time. How are you dealing with the community? How are things with community relations?
I've been so surprised by how positive people can be. In particular, the volunteering spirit there is within Rotherham. I'm absolutely overwhelmed by the volunteering spirit right through Rotherham and the capacity of people wanting to change. I think everybody realises there's been problems over the years, but again, myself and the partners in the council and the vast majority of the community are behind us in trying to seek that change. We're not going to deny the past. Why would we? Because what's happened. It's about improvement, and I've heard you spoke in your previous guests about looking towards the positive of how we can improve. I don't think we'll ever have a situation when we can agree 100% on everything, but to have a respectful conversation and a debate and a conversation about how you move forward is the most important thing. And again, we're starting to have those conversations right now.
Fantastic. We've seen some of the meetings you've been attending to, especially yesterday, last night's meeting's not hidden, where you spent a few hours with the community as well, and a lot of reassurance work there as well with the community. But let's talk about your yesterday experience of yesterday's meeting. How was it, and what was the response like from the community, and how did you get? How do you feel as though you tried?
Well, it was first of all, I was welcomed. It was a very, very positive room full of people. They had challenging questions. There was a great deal of emotion in the room and heartfelt, comments about, getting me to understand what the situation is. And again, we've been listening very carefully over the past few months. It's been directed to us very, very directly, and I've listened to it, personally, over quite some time. So it was very positive. They were up for a debate and a reasoned conversation about what the way forward is. Don't get me wrong. There is confidence is yet to build. But the group I spoke to last night, and especially Rima, who are absolutely brilliant, they are supporting the community and helping us to improve confidence in policing, and that's all about, you know, those ladies who I spoke to last night were showing signs that they can come and talk to us. Not perfect, of course it isn't, but we want those people to have the confidence that they can come and tell us anything and give us an opportunity to deal with it. And hate crime's right at the front of the queue, of course. And we've talked about hate crime for quite some time. We can say that hate crime, you know, reporting of hate crime is up. And actually, it's something that I will celebrate, because it just shows that people have got the confidence to come forward. It's then up to us to deal with it really robustly.
Thank you for that. But let's. I've never been here sat in the sat in the studio and a senior police figure come in and I've had a text message in on our Facebook Live actually. It says South Yorkshire Police do a brilliant job, and I just wanted to share that with you because it says they do a well done to South Yorkshire Police for helping taxi drivers. So that's from Abdul Rahim, who's left a Facebook comment on there as well. So I just wanted to pass that on before I move to the next question. The next question is around consultation. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first, because when I say bad things, I say improvements, because we want to try and remain positive in the step that we've got this EDL demo coming on Saturday. The members of the community have raised all week on our drive time show that they're not being consulted with, the community is not being consulted with. Individuals like Shakur of Rotherham 12 that was in our studios yesterday, they said that they don't feel as though the police come with the route for the EDL march, and they come and they say, this is the route, what do you think, and where's what and give us your views and give us your opinion, but they come with the route already planned. They're not asking us for ideas, but they come with the route. How do you think negotiations, how do you think the consultation has gone with the community, and especially in the work of that news yesterday from the Home Office as well, which they basically turned around to you and said, I'm sorry, we're not going to change the legislation?
Well, let me start there. With legislation, and so we've been lobbying as hard as we can in the background about changing legislation. I personally believe that's the way forward. There are very few circumstances like we're facing in Rotherham. We don't want these protests, you know, on a regular basis. Obviously, Saturday will probably be our 18th in about 2.5 years. That's almost unprecedented. But the legislation doesn't support us in terms of, you know, the cumulative impact, and we really understand that cumulative impact that is building up in Rotherham, but the legislation doesn't cater for it. Doesn't allow us to add them all together and allow us to do something. And in terms of banning a march, the bar is really, 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 really high. And again, we're not at that threshold to be able to approach the Home Secretary for her to ban a procession. And obviously we can't ban an assembly. There is no piece of legislation in the world that allows us to ban an assembly. So it's down to us to manage these things. So, and again, it is a balance about obviously what the community think, which is really important, including businesses in the town centre. But when a group comes to us and say, right, we want to go to the town centre, any other suggestion being put forward by us is going to be rejected. So there has been several routes tried in the past over the 18 that we've had. The one we've got at the moment is probably the most peripheral that we've ever had. Now, what we say is that it obviously it's for us to manage the disruption that causes. And again, I'm very acutely aware that the route, which we'll cover in a minute, because I know you've asked me to cover that,
we're going to be talking about
there are eight businesses that it does go past. And again, those businesses have been spoken to. I know there was a consultation event, you know, through the local authority, which obviously we're you know, working with to invite businesses to give us their views. But I suspect that if we put forward any route that went anywhere near the town centre, unless it was 6 miles away, it wouldn't meet with any form of approval. The trouble is, we've got to balance these rights, and again, we make no comment on the cause, because that's not our role. We have this job to facilitate peaceful protest. That doesn't mean we're allowing it, because over the course of the last few years, and in particular on this Saturday coming up, we're imposing the most stringent conditions on those marches so we can police it effectively and keep people safe. So it's not a free ride to Rotherham. This is not a day out for the EDL. You know, we're making it as unpopular as possible. We're not, you know, saying you can go carte blanche, go through town. We've imposed conditions to prevent that, to make sure it's as least disruptive as possible, and that's our aim for Saturday. So in terms of what's different, the conditions this time round are the most stringent that we've ever imposed on any group.
touch about some of these approaches and some of these the rules, and you use the word stringent there. Is that more of a zero tolerance approach in respect to very times there have been many dispersals, people have gone off when at the end of rallies incidents have taken place? While I don't want to talk specifically about the William Fry incident, I'm going to refer to it in the passing, in the sense that that was an example of where if communities are not dispersed in a correct manner, or they're kettled, or very other terms that were used that time, then incidents like that can occur. So I want you to address that point specifically, is in regards to the way this will be policed, and before we touch upon the route, just the manner in which it was going to be placed, and whether it's going to be a zero tolerance approach and stringent as actually not just the words but actually the whole atmosphere.
Absolutely. Okay, so what I can talk about from the Wellgate incident, and we won't go into that because of various legal reasons, is what we've learned from it. So what we've learned from it is for us to watch very carefully for any flashpoints outside of the demonstration time. So, very much. So, for example, there will be police officers outside every town centre pub. Okay. So that to prevent any flashpoints that could possibly be. And again, you can't give 100% guarantee, because a human being operation like this doesn't give guarantees. But what we will do is provide those visible policing resources to protect the community outside things like public houses. We have got a visibility plan outside all the mosques in Rotherham. There's various other locations where we'll be strategically placed right the way through town. In the past, what we've done, and actually what we've been encouraged, is please return our town centre to normality as quickly as possible. So get everybody out and get the cops out, and let's return to normality. And that's what we've tried to do previously, about de-escalate it as quickly as possible.
Right.
That won't happen this time round, because what we don't want to do is leave any small splinter groups out there to create a flashpoint and then us not being there. So what you can expect to see in Rotherham is a bit more of a lengthy police presence, past the times of the two protests that are happening in the town centre, to make sure that none of that happens. So again, in terms of learning the lessons from previous protest, that's one that's definitely been learnt and will be a feature on Saturday.
Many of the communities use this word, and they use this word not probably knowing what it means from a police point of view, but they say they want an approach where it's zero tolerance, zero tolerance to hate crime, zero tolerance to racist slogans being held up, racist, a real emphasis on the sense that people shouldn't be allowed to shout racial abuse from within a crowd and be expected to get away from it. That's the kind of response the community is asking for. Will your policing plan on the day deliver that?
Well, I discussed this very topic with the group I spoke to last night in detail over a number of hours, and again they were heartfelt in their say, if you see something, will you do something? And the answer to that question is of course. So there's two aspects to a big public order operation with large crowds. There are some things you can deal with there and then. There's some things that you can't deal with there and then, because it just winds the crowd up, and again it just makes the job that much different and makes it more risky. So we've got 8 sets of cameras going around town on Saturday, evidence gathering any comments that are made, so we can identify the individuals and then we will deal with them. So there are evidential thresholds in terms of legality of what people say or don't say, whether it hits the line or crosses the line. And of course, we will be watching for that very, very carefully. And again, in terms of banners or slogans or T-shirts, that protest group that's going to gather on Main Street will be checked to make sure that there's nothing there that is contravening the law. Okay, so but if something is produced halfway through, you can imagine how difficult it is to wade into the crowd of 100 or 200 people to try and sort that out, because that just makes our job more difficult. But it's not going to be ignored. There is an investigative plan on the day and after the day to make sure we sweep up anything that's pointed out. And again, the ladies that I spoke to last night, they've all got their iPhones saying, and there's lots of people out there with iPhones recording stuff. And if you record some stuff that we've missed, we'll have it off you and we'll deal with it.
Okay, let's talk about the two routes, because I want to move on to them as well, because we're running out of time, and this time is usually not enough for us. But let's talk about the two routes. First of all, I want to talk about the United Against Fascism. Where are they meeting, and where are they? What kind of policing is around them?
Okay, so obviously we've been approached by several groups in terms of a will to counter-protest. Again, that is everyone's right in terms of a peaceful protest, and that's what we encourage with any protest group that comes to Rotherham, whether it's one side or the other. It doesn't matter. Peaceful protest is what we want. We want cooperation from these groups as well to actually describe what their intentions are, so we can actually facilitate that protest. So actually, what we've suggested is that the counter-protest group should be in Minster Gardens. Okay, and what that does is it avoids all the really positive town centre events through the Fun Day on Saturday, and there are events all through All Saints Square and right down High Street. So we want to avoid those because we don't want to disrupt those, of course. And so the normal folk of Rotherham can come to Rotherham and have the good time that they have most Saturdays in terms of using the town centre facilities. So Minster Gardens is where they're going to be. We suspect, they're going to gather at the same times that the other group are going their route, which we'll come to in a minute.
Yep.
And again, what we understand is that once the other group have gone out of Rotherham, that they want to go up to the UF and affiliated groups want to go up to the town hall themselves. And of course, that we will facilitate that.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the first group. I guess that's at this moment it seems to be getting by some of our texters during the course of the week is some sort of precedence, because again, get to go up to the town hall first, in the sense that the English Defence League that are also coming to Rotherham, which is the main reason for this, is they're going to be from the police station. There's some rooms. Can you just specifically spell out to people listening now the route for that?
Absolutely. So the muster point is from 2 o'clock outside the police station on Main Street. So the designated parking spot is the car park at the bottom end of Main Street. Okay, so we're encouraging, and the organisers have confirmed that they're encouraging all the people that are coming to park there, so we know where they are and we can get them from there to the muster point with no issue. So the move off from muster point is at 3 o'clock, straight up Main Street, up the hill, over the river to the traffic lights at the top. That's Moorgate. So you turn left there, and then an immediate right after about 15 yards, up Ship Hill, which is the real steep hill, short hill up to the town hall, where they will gather for whatever speeches they want to do in terms of protest, and then return by the same route and dispersal by about 4:30, something like that.
4 or 4:30, and that's when the other group is United Against Fascism or other splinter groups will be allowed to come up to the town hall.
Yeah, it's absolutely. We'll if that's what they want to do on the day, we'll facilitate the movement of the other groups up to the town hall if that's what they want.
So is there at any point here where things are going to be left to people in their own interest to disperse off? So for example, if members of EDL want to go in a certain direction, they can go off wherever they want after the town hall, or is it specifically narrowed in the sense that it's done by a certain method and that's it?
It's our intention is once that right of protest is over, they are leaving town, and that's what we're going to facilitate. They're going to climb in their cars, we'll go to the railway station, we'll be round them, and they'll be off out of the county. We'll be watching very carefully if anyone tries to go into town, and we will intercept. It's our intention to intercept them, and obviously we've got other powers once we're past the period of peaceful protest in terms of Section 35 dispersal powers, and that's what we use. And that's what we used, previously on last Saturday when we had some information that people were coming. We used those Section 35 powers to disperse people out of town, and we will do that robustly to make sure that there are no flashpoints that can be generated from the dispersal of those EDL people who are coming.
What's your advice to the public? Are the public safe? And the reason why I say this is a lot of police presence is enough to alarm certain citizens from coming into town anyway.
Course, yeah.
But the issue of being around here is women feel intimidated. Certain women that have come onto our shows in the past say they feel intimidated that they might have their scarves pulled at, racial abuse shouted at, and they fear. How is that? Are people safe, and what's your thoughts and your views for those people listening out there that feel intimidated as to coming into the town centre?
Our primary purpose in any policing of protests is to make it a safe event for everybody. It would be our intention to robustly challenge any conduct like that, and I would encourage anyone, if you suffer anything like that, you come and tell us, and we will deal with it. So again, my encouragement to the group that I spoke to yesterday is come into town on Saturday and enjoy the town centre. It's a family fun day. It's been organised by the local authority. We will ensure that that's made safe and there will be a police presence all the way through town to make sure that happens.
Right, it's time for the ad breaks here at Iman FM, and at the end of this segment, finally, first of all, I just want to thank you once again for coming on to our radio station, Chief Superintendent Rob Odell, and it'll be an interesting day on Saturday for those of you guys that are going to either of the marches, United Against Fascism, Minster Gardens then, or splinter groups, and then they can go up to the Town Hall after 4:30 when the English Defence League have been dispersed off. If that is their intentions on the day. There's lots of uncertainty still, but unfortunately that's all the time that we have allocated for this. Next on our show is Matlub Hussain Ali Khan with a paper review, and we'll be talking to him in a short while as well. Rob, thank you very much for coming on to our radio station.
I appreciate your time, and I'll come back if you have an invite.
Absolutely fantastic. We definitely want to talk to Rob again on our Drive Time show, especially regarding hate crime as an initiative as well, because this is one of the things where we want future dialogues within the community and start building some of our trust. So, Brilliant. Rob, cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your voice, your choice. You are listening to Radio Iman on 103.1 FM.
सामीन अजीब कार अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं राजा खुशनूद खान पेश करता हूं प्रोग्राम मसला क्या है हर जुमारात शाम 6 बजे से 8 बजे तक, जिसमें ज़ेर बहस आएंगे आइली, मिली, समाजी, दीनी, सकाफती, कौमी और बैनुल-अक़वामी अमूर।
Khan Solicitors, experienced criminal defence lawyers in defending your rights. We can assist you get the best possible outcome if you're involved in any criminal matters, including murder, drug offences, sexual offences including grooming, terrorism, fraud and money laundering. We can provide free advice and assistance 24/7 at the police station. Call us on 0114 258 3399 at 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Visit us at khansolicitors.com. Over 20 years experience in defending your rights.
क्या आप बच्चों की शादी के सिलसिले में परेशान हैं? क्या आप बर्तानिया में ही बच्चों की शादी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप एक अच्छे रिश्ते की तलाश में हैं? अगर इन सवालों का जवाब हाँ में है, तो आपका मसला हल हो गया। बर्तानिया में रिहाइश पजीर आला तालीम याफ्ता किसी भी बरादरी के अच्छे रिश्तों के लिए आप राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन से इस टेलीफोन नंबर पर राब्ता कायम करें 0114 2425 400। राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन मुसलमान खानदानों को करीब लाने का राब्ता।
Coversure Insurance Rotherham are your friendly local brokers who can insure all your needs, whether it is for your own car, home or property you let. We also have specialist insurers for your shop, restaurants and takeaways. We can cover all aspects of the motor trade, and we have some excellent rates for taxis, minibuses and commercial vehicles, including fleet policies. All written quotes can be beaten. Please call us today on 01709 556 230. We are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Sheffield's finest buffet restaurant, Mirpuri Dera, reviving the taste of Asian subcontinent. Extensive buffet with more than 40 dishes.
नई इंतजामिया, नया साफ सुथरा माहौल, मुनफरिद खाने, 40 से ज़ायद डिशेस, पार्टी ऑर्गेनाइजर, मशरकी रवायात का अलंबरदार, हलाल फूड।
Mirpuri Dera, Stanifeth Road, Darnell, 0114 244 9199 under new management.
जेड़ा भी पाए एक बारी फेरा, वो आवे बार बार मीरपुरी डेरा।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। हम आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आपने अल हबीब वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन के साथ भरपूर तावन किया। आपके ज़कात, सदक़ात, फिदिया और सदक़ातुल फ़ितर बगैर किसी कमी के हम इंतहाई गरीब, पसमानदा इलाकों के यतीमों, बेवाओं, माज़ूरों और ज़रूरतमंदों तक पहुँचाते हैं। अल्लाह ताला आपके तावन को कबूलियत का आला दर्जा अता फरमाए।
For more information, please contact Maulana Aslam Zaid on 0789 454 0303 alhabibwelfarefoundation.co.uk.
In a world where accident claims are poorly managed and the referral fees paid are so low, and just when all hope is lost in the city of Sheffield, a hero emerges. A hero so powerful, one phone number is all you need. A hero named Mr. Compensator. For your referral fee of £2,000, call Mr. Compensator now on 0114 3863 386. Terms and conditions apply.
Iman FM. This is Iman FM. You are listening Iman FM 103.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum then, and a very warm welcome back. You're listening to Iman FM's Drive Time Show with me, Nasser Rauf. I'll be with you through to 6 o'clock, and now we have got Matloob Hussain Ali Khan with us for the paper reviews. Let's go to him without any further delay then. So Matloob, thank you very much for being patient with us there. Very, very busy show we've had today. Next half an hour or so, we will be talking to Matloob regarding the paper review. Our freelance journalist here on Drive Time. Assalamu alaikum Matloob, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we've been a very busy afternoon. You got the EDL march, and you know something?
Yeah.
It's just looking back on some of the marches that have happened a long time ago, and also very recently, since the EDL in the sort of 2013. You know, them demonstrations in Sheffield. Remember that? And Rotherham is an area they always target. So which is good to see the South Yorkshire Police applying to the Home Office to ban it. But obviously, with the government present in in some circumstances, because of democracy, etc., and things, people, got the right to demonstrate against Trump. So the government trying to be playing a level, fair. So that's why the reason they didn't ban it. So to be honest, I'm two ways. To be honest, if they banned it, it would save a lot of money for the government. And all the waste and the damage and the things caused by both parties. So
yeah, there were so many questions to ask this chief superintendent Rob Dell, because especially cost. You know, what I mean, them cost of those officers won't be cheap. You look at close to £500,000 before you if you're talking about the policing operation. In the past, that's what some sort of figures it's cost to have them over in Rotherham. But are you going to be going to the protest, do you think, Matloob, or what's your
I probably will be. Just this is if I've got some time to, if I've got better time. Been busy. That's another thing. My apologies tonight, because I won't be able to do a live show because I've got a visitor today all day. I've been busy. Got to take them to Bradford. He's one of the work colleagues and taking him back. So
right, yeah.
So I have to give advance if my show's on tonight, but it'll be not a live one. So
Lisa Parker's joining us on Facebook. She says, excellent, we're very informative, keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Lisa. Parker, excellent work. Nasraf, Altaf Ahmed, Imran Khan, why don't South Asia please give more help to taxi drivers? We've got him coming back, Imran Saab, about taxi driver issues and certain other things that we're going to continue as well. Asif Zamir said taxis should get fuel subsidy just like lorries and local city bus transport. And Abdul Rahim says, top presenter, well done, keep up the brilliant work. Jazakallah khair. If all drivers joined, we'd have some unity and working under one umbrella. Thank you very much to all them comments, and thank you for all the Facebook views as well.
We're starting with the Guardian picture of Trump's former security advisor Michael Flynn. So it's a headline virtually saying that he's the only person who would say sort of the first to say that he'll not support him, basically. And the other big story is first woman to become the head of the Metropolitan Police in quite a few papers. It's a remarkable career. So you interviewed the police, so it's quite thematic. This
we've had one of Scotland Yard commanders here, Matloob, as well. We spoke to him on Drive Time a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So did he talk about that appointment?
No. This was after. This was only a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So that's the story running. So it's interesting. Former senior Scotland Yard officer. So congratulations to her. And the other story is fiance guilty of killing the husband, fiance, his author wife, author Helen Burley was murdered by her fiance Ian Stewart. Jury has heard, and there's a picture. So sad story, that one, with a dog. So it's such as somebody who's written an author and been murdered. It's a very, very horrific story there. So I don't want to go too much into that one now, but we'll go going on to the one on the Independent, the children illegally held in solitary confinement, and this is to do with the especially people people to do with refugee children as well, the ones and other people, and generally young offenders in centres are holding inmates in solitary confinement in an alleged breach of the UN torture rules and British law. Lawyers in one case have launched a legal action against the government in High Court. More than a dozen examples have been covered. So that's the big story in the Independent. Moving on to Telegraph, this is one on the headline is Ministers Retreat on Rate Rises. We talked about this a few shows ago as well, talking about the small businesses, although the story runs also on Cressida Dick, the First Lady on the Met, who's been appointed, but that is interesting story on the rates, but we've talked about that, so we'll just jump to the other one, because the picture that features there is one of the ISIL terrorists, Guantanamo Bay, who's claimed apparently the government was under pressure to prove that none of the 20 million has been paid to British terror suspects held at Guantanamo Bay ended up in the hands of ISIL. The row was ignited following the death of Jamil al-Harith, who received a massive payout. So that is, in fact, that features on quite a few tabloids. I'll mention that later as well. And it's obviously they're going to twist it to a different angle, but we'll see. The other one is, this is a serious one. I think I talked about this a few weeks ago, months ago, in fact. Tumble dryers. Do you know about tumble dryers? You've heard about that they can catch fire.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that not so long ago, a few weeks ago, weren't we?
Yeah, well, over 3 million tumble dryers, especially the ones made by Whirlpool tumble dryers, have been told that to use their machines after the firm went back records and backtracked on the advice, and they said they were safe to use. But now they've changed their mind following the intervention by the trading standards, and they said that they need to recall them back. Even places like Hotpoint might be doing the same. So that's a story in there. So Daily Mirror, and this is I've got some breaking news as well about the Storm
Doris.
Yeah, I've got some breaking news as well. I'm just going to cover that in a minute as well, because the Daily Mirror is the one where I'm going to check. There's a story in the Daily Mirror which I did have, but it's it don't seem to come up. Yeah, Daily Mirror here is mail. Anyway, so the Daily Mirror's got that big story about Storm Doris, so batten down your hatches. That is a big story. And the breaking news of Daily, they just have heard is just that the BBC, via the BBC, Storm Doris, falling debris kills a woman in Wolverhampton. That's 5 minutes ago. Latest news, and this is these are 94 mile an hour. I remember talking on the Facebook with Bob Robert Addenbrook, Bob who does the show, and he was mentioning that he predicted. I said, well, that's although we were joking, but seriously, things are happening with certain storms, and they can be predicted quite accurately. So sadly, in this case, a woman has died after being hit by a coffee-sized table debris in Storm Doris. An eyewitness said that woman was struck by an object thought to be a piece of roof. That is dangerous, from the heart. And something that similar things happened, and I think somebody was killed in Bodmin Street Mosque not long ago, about 10-15 years ago, maybe probably less, of a debris falling off a chimney stack just on Bodmin Street. That, and that's due to storm. So this is it's quite serious. The reality hits you. So she suffered very serious head injuries and died at the scene. Paramedics said a number of people have also been injured at winds up to 94 miles an hour have been recorded across the UK. Latest on the Storm Doris and the in Birmingham and Black Country, because Wolverhampton is near Birmingham anyway. So that is the latest breaking news on via the BBC.
Most flights have been grounded as well, Matloob. They've been delayed at airports and trains slowed due to gale force winds, and we've also had 12 amber severe weather warnings have been issued by the Met Office, and that Storm Doris has undergone an explosive cyclogenesis, making it a weather bomb.
Well, this is the weather bomb I've talked about, because in certain places like Sheffield, due to the atmosphere and the location, the actual the 7 hills in Sheffield. No, seriously, they are 7 hills, like Rome, they are 7 hills, and that's caused a weather storm. And sometime a friend of mine says to me, he lives in Rotherham. He used to live in Rotherham. You still live in Rotherham? Yeah, so if you live in Rotherham, sometimes you talk to a friend in Sheffield or different parts, and they said, oh, is it raining there? They said, no. It's true, because sometimes in locations that it doesn't, there's that border, and that's where the different weather patterns do occur. So that's the interesting thing. There's different. It's not like within a 20-mile-an-hour radius and the same thing. Usually it can be raining all there, it can rain all over. So that's the other story in the Daily Mail, which is covering, which I talked about earlier, and that is talking about the terrors of Guantanamo Bay. And this is Jamal Harith, one of the people who got paid out $1 million, apparently, according to the tabloid press and also the press. That also it's talking about secret drone strikes, which we've talked about, heard about. These take out British jihadists. This happened last year as well. RAF pilots have been secretly assassinating British jihadis, plotting UK terror attacks from bases in Syria and Iraq using drones and fighter jets. Have been working their way through the killer list of key targets. This happened under Mr. David Cameron. Remember, he made that decision. And also, there's an article in about the other story. Obviously, it's talking about Tony Blair and Guantanamo Bay, but no surprise there. No. Tony Blair was yesterday once again attacked. Not attacked, but he attacked the Daily Mail because of the article. But people are attacking him as well. But over the coverage of the Guantanamo Bay suicide bomber story, the Labour former Prime Minister claimed it was hypocritical of this newspaper to be outraged about Ronald Fiddler's release. This is another guy from Guantanamo Bay, but it's interesting, very interesting, the fake news and the Wikipedia about the Daily Mail. So it's a really interesting, but serious stuff as well, assassinating people. Yes, those people should be involved in those organizations. They should be arrested. Justice should be served. But just assassinate them, then if you're going to do that to them, you should assassinate other people as well. So how much money of the government spent on just one individual? What difference is going to have? Are you sure they've assassinated them, or how many people you killed in the collateral damage of people living in the vicinity? So you don't know. To be honest, it's a very, very dangerous game, and I think there's still, there's a lot of questions to be asked. A single mother of 4 has told her ex-boyfriend that he will not get a penny after she won 14.5 million on the lottery. So that's very sad news. So this is interesting. People have got power, when they've got money, they can do what they want, and especially this person who won the lottery. Interesting, isn't it? That's but last but not least, we're going to we've got the Kashmir story, but the final one is we've got the Daily Express. And
Daily Express.
You know what Daily Express talks about? I mentioned this on the Facebook with Robert Bob Addenbrook, talking about the weather. Well, the headline, we give the weather where it's due to the Daily Express. The headline runs 80 mile an hour MPH, it says there though. Storm chaos on the way. So they've got it right so far. They've got it right. Not fake news. It's this is what is happening. So that's the very, very, very wet and windy. So that is and also they're talking about health as well. Because the health is wealth, as we say, scientists, we are a step closer to curing deafness. That's another story, but I'll not talk about that too much, maybe another time. But the other story that's talking about is diabetes. They've got a cure. They're saying a new jab can beat diabetes. A simple jab could stop millions of people developing type 2 diabetes, which is common amongst the Asian community, people from the Asian subcontinent. Researchers found daily injections of weight loss wonder drug prevented the condition in 80% of overweight people who are prone to a British experts say that. So that's an interesting one, and that's the other latest news is in Kashmir. Situation is going on. This is interesting. I'll give you a bit of different news rather than shootings and killings. I'll give you an interesting story on the Telegraph, apparently, if that comes up. The Daily Telegraph, but interesting. It's talking about watch Kashmiri paneer masala. Are you hungry? No. Yeah, this is an interesting one. If you look at that, making me hungry. Nice. So it's talking about the chief chef Mainuka Gaur Hadan shares a delicious recipe for Kashmiri paneer masala, ginger, which is made in tomato, ginger and fennel gravy, and the perfect vegetarian curry. So there is a big interesting
but look, we'll go and pretend we're Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, and going back to the reality of what's happening, and we'll go to one of the Pakistani newspapers covering. We'll go to the press TV, because I think the independent news, so rather than relying Pakistan or India.
Yeah.
So this is 3 Indian soldiers. 3 Indian soldiers, 1 civilian killed in Kashmir, and a woman has, and including 1 woman, has been killed in a suspected military attack on a military convoy in Indian-controlled Kashmir. The troops were returning from a search operation on Thursday. That's today. Armed men opened fire on the convoy in the region's Shopian district. This is this happened last week as well. There's another incident. Okay. Wounded 6 soldiers, killing a woman on the spot. 3 of the wounded succumbed to their injuries later at the army hospital. So the human rights groups accuse India of using indiscriminate force against the protesters, and and as you can see that picture, this is ongoing, and in fact India has so far deployed 10,000 of troops to Kashmir to curb the pro-independence and show order and security. So we'll have to leave that there, inshallah, and that's about it. Inshallah, you'll hear from me not live, but you'll hear my show, a recorded one. And until next week, my apologies for all the listeners. You'll hear me again on Monday on the drive time. And interestingly, there was an event I just want to mention. Congratulations to this, who was it now? Rashid Khan. But just one little thing, Rashid Khan, if he's listening, thank you for the invitation. I'm sure I will be invited next time. You need to invite people, across the board. If he forgot, that's no problem, but I will talk to him, and because people like Rashid are very doing stuff on Kashmir, and I think they should respect each other, and I made the point on Facebook, and it was a joke, but at the same time, seriously, end of the day, people have to respect everybody's profession, and I respect people who's got 3-4 different professions, but we're doing the same thing. We're talking about journalism, we're talking about radio, and we need to work together. And I think it's important to celebrate with the people, but at the same time, it's over-celebrating and overdoing it is not very good as well.
Thank you very much for that, and Jazakallah Khair for your paper review, and inshallah we shall see you next Monday on Drive Time Show. Jazakallah Khair.
Jazakallah Khair, thank you.
And so that wraps up Drive Time, I think, almost. We've got about a few minutes left, and then inshallah we'll be heading off towards the next program here at Iman FM, which is going to be recorded as well, Masla Kya Hai, and then with Raja Khushnood Khan usually, and lots to talk about. I want to take this couple of minutes while I finished early to get something off my chest, feel a bit lighter for those people that are on social media. Jazakallah Khair. But I do want to say a few words. I did Facebook Live earlier on, by the way, and I did put some of my views across there as well, and views in the sense that this has been a very interesting morning. Lost for words, because I've got to draw the line of where I can say things and what things I can't say. But what I will say is a lesson for the community and a lesson for myself as well, is when you're doing something, when you're in a position of power, everyone will criticise you. But just because they criticise you doesn't mean they hate you, doesn't mean they're nasty. It's because they probably like you, they probably like what you do, probably maybe jealous slightly, or they may be happy for you and they want you to do even better. So I want to thank all those people that criticised this morning. I want to thank all the people that were ringing around this morning, and were ringing individuals and kind of not happy with some of the content that I discussed on Drive Time. But as I say, I'm here for the community. I'm not here for these individuals. But I do want to thank them, because they bring out the best in me. And if it wasn't for them people criticising on the sideline, I would never learn. So I want to thank all of you guys that criticise. I want to thank all you guys that ring around behind, trying to talk about various things and get things taken off my agenda for my show. But alhamdulillah, here at Iman FM, we're here for cohesive society, and cohesive society means where we all work together and where we all go and head towards the direction of success. And success doesn't mean that one person gets the limelight and the second doesn't. And as people said yesterday at an event that was organised at Orient Express, that we're not here for individuals. Don't try pulling any individual down. Don't try pulling legs. In fact, pull them up the ladder. show inspiration, show belief. When you show inspiration and you show passion to another human being, it gives them the hosla afzai, it gives them the opportunity to progress themselves as well, and it makes you look better in their eyes as well. And there's so much more you can do. I know there's various members that were calling more, we'll boycott your show, we'll do this, we'll do that, but inevitably what we should do is we should all work together, and our goal is all one, is building that cohesion within our society, and that's why I'm here. We're going to bring things to end on Facebook Live in a short while. There's only a few minutes left for drive time. And like I say, I'm open to criticism. I would love it. And it really helps me do better. So if there is any feedback out there, please do get in touch. You don't have to get in touch directly with me. You can get in touch with the guys here in the office. I'm going to give the studio hotline number out. If not the studio hotline, the studio admin team, you can ring them and you can speak to him. It's 014 24 20 551, and that's the management team there. Shai Shabir Chaudhry is one of the staff that works there. From Allah Ke Safir, there's Muhammad Shabir Mughal, the CEO of Iman FM, and there's others as well there that you can speak to and you can share your views with. And any improvements as well, please do get in touch with us here. We try and keep things as light as possible, but today obviously it's had to be very heavy with the Consul General, which I'm very grateful for coming on the air, addressing some of the concerns that I had from various members of the community. There was still some more that we wanted to talk about, but it's important that we get him on in the future as well, and many others. Jazakallah khair, everybody, and it's Allah Hafiz from me, and it's going to be the end of the show soon. I'm very grateful for those people that joined on Facebook Live, so I do want to go through these individuals because I've got a lot of respect for each and every single one of them. And that's Tariq Sadiq of Rotherham. He's on the Hackney scenes in Rotherham, real activist in the Rotherham community. Jazakallah khair for joining us here on Facebook Live. Ibrahim Hussain and Lee Ward, they're absolutely fantastic as well. Abdul Rahim does a fantastic work within on social media, does a lot of helping and supporting people. Jazakallah khair for you as well, my brother. Kamran Malik, another one, really activist, shares so much news stories in Rotherham. Big shout out to you and as well. We have Lisa on there. Lisa's a very big supporter, really good critical person as well that you can turn to. Lisa, thank you very much for listening and tuning in to us. Altaf Ahmed does an amazing show on Link FM. This guy's absolutely phenomenal himself, and it's you'll get appreciated when fellow presenters appreciate you as well. Asif Zamir and a few others on their social media as well. Jazakallah khair to you guys as well. Without you guys, things won't be possible. Imran Khan, your suggestion that Sayat Police can give more for taxi drivers, inshallah we will talk to you and a few others about that issue, and we'll get them back on. And it's been a tough week on drive time, and it wouldn't be grateful. It'd be grateful in the last minute or so if I could say something about my team that I have here. I have a great CEO. I have a great Shai Shabir Chaudhry, who does a fantastic job helping me with Facebook Live, and beyond all, Matloob that takes his time out and he comes into the studio. He comes in, provides us with the newspaper feeds, live reporting from certain incidents that have happened over the week. Activists within the community, however small or however big they are, however long they've been doing it in Matloob's cake, or however short they are, they are phenomenal in the sense that they take out their time and their dedication towards radio and community radio, and I think we should take out this time to appreciate them. So Jazakallah khair, Matloob, if you're listening there, and I appreciate what you do as well for us on the drive time. Many others as well that have helped us and inspired us. Some of those individuals were at the event last night as well. And these people are mentored and they have said things as well. So Jazakallah khair to all of them for their advice and their guidance as well. It's the end of Drive Time Show. Jazakallah khair, Allah Hafiz, and inshallah see you again on Monday.